Do you think you know Hades, the god of the underworld? His realm is just a place of endless suffering, right? You're wrong. Prepare yourself to learn the truth that has been meticulously hidden for centuries. Stories so dark, so brutal, they've become the foundation of the most terrifying myths. We'll tell you about the mortal who defied the gods themselves, and for it was condemned to an eternity of what exactly? His punishment still fuels the most chilling scandals. We will reveal the secret of a weapon that rendered its wielder completely invisible and how it was used to commit truly unimaginable acts. And you will learn why the ancient Greeks harbored such a wild fear of one simple name. We won't be talking about boring facts. We will be delving into the very heart of darkness, where reality twists and the truth is soul-shatteringly shocking. What lies beyond the gates where no sunlight ever touches? What happens to the souls who couldn't earn even the simplest forgiveness? The answers are horrifying, and you won't be able to look away until you know it all, to the very end. Picture a grim, bottomless realm where shadows stretch endlessly, and the whispers of the departed linger in the air. At its very heart stands a figure shrouded in mystery, ruling a kingdom no living soul dares to enter willingly. This is Hades, the god of the underworld, and his domain is as captivating as it is awe-inspiring. But what if you were told that behind the myths of gloom and despair lies a world brimming with secrets, stories, and symbols that shaped ancient Greek culture in ways you never imagined? Today, we delve into the hidden corners of the underworld to uncover 30 secrets about Hades and his realm that will change how you perceive this misunderstood deity. From the origins of the three-headed dog Cerberus to the tragic love story of Orpheus and Eurydice, and even the surprising truth about the Asphodel meadows, we've got it all, so settle in, because this journey is anything but ordinary. By the end of this narrative, not only will you know more about Hades than most people, but you'll also see the underworld in a completely new light. Ready to explore the realm of the unseen? Let's begin. Our story doesn't begin in the underworld, but among the gods themselves. Hades was born as one of the three sons of Cronus and Rhea, alongside his brothers Zeus and Poseidon. These three would eventually form the very fabric of the cosmos, but their early years were far from peaceful. Cronus, fearing a prophecy that one of his children would overthrow him, swallowed each of them at birth. But Rhea, cunning and resolute, saved Zeus by tricking Cronus, and Zeus later freed his brothers, including Hades, from their father's belly. Together, they unleashed the Titanomachy, a colossal war against the Titans that ended with the Olympians victorious. When it came time to divide the world, the brothers drew lots. Zeus received the sky, Poseidon the seas, and Hades was assigned the underworld. But here's the catch. Hades didn't exactly embrace this fate with open arms. In fact, he was initially hesitant, viewing his domain as a place of isolation and darkness. However, over time, he grew into his role, becoming a stern but just ruler of the unseen realm. This origin story shows us that even gods had their struggles, and Hades' path to power was anything but straightforward. After their victory over the Titans, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades faced the monumental task of deciding how to divide the world amongst themselves. To ensure fairness, they opted for the method of drawing lots, a practice that left no room for disputes. Zeus, the youngest and most ambitious, drew the sky, securing his place as the ruler of the heavens and the king of the gods. Poseidon, known for his tempestuous nature, claimed the seas, becoming the god of all waters and earthly storms. And then there was Hades. His lot fell upon the underworld, a realm shrouded in mystery and often misunderstood. At first glance, it might have seemed the least desirable allotment, but it held immense power and responsibility. The underworld wasn't merely a dwelling place for the departed. It was the final resting place for all souls, making Hades the custodian of the ultimate transition into eternity. This division was not just territorial, it was symbolic. Zeus ruled the living, Poseidon controlled the forces of nature, and Hades reigned over the afterlife, ensuring no single god held complete dominion over all aspects of existence. This carefully calibrated balance reflects the ancient Greeks' understanding of the world as a place where order and harmony are maintained through a division of responsibilities. Hades' claim to the underworld was not a punishment or a secondary role. It was a vital part of the cosmic order, underscoring his significance as a god of both judgment and mercy. This division of the cosmos was not merely mythical. It mirrored how the ancient Greeks envisioned the balance of power and the interconnectedness of life, death, and natural phenomena. As we will see next, Hades' role in this system shaped not only his legacy, but also the very fabric of Greek mythology. Now let's unveil the fascinating meaning behind the name Hades. In the ancient Greek language, the name Hades translates to the unseen, a title that perfectly encapsulates his elusive and shadowy presence. Unlike other Olympian gods who were often honored and invoked by mortals, Hades was a figure shrouded in mystery. His realm, the underworld, was a place few could venture to and return from. This made him a god who operated in the shadows, unseen yet ever present. This name was not just a label. It reflected his role as the ruler of the dead, a being who existed beyond the world of the living. Mortals often avoided uttering his name directly, fearing that calling upon him might draw his attention or bring misfortune. Instead, they used euphemisms such as Pluto, meaning the rich one, a tribute to the wealth of the earth and the treasures hidden beneath it. This avoidance of his name highlights the deep-seated reverence and fear the ancients held for Hades. He was not merely a god of the departed. He was the embodiment of the unknown, an unseen force governing the afterlife. This mystique surrounding his name adds another layer to his character, portraying him not as a villain, but as a powerful, enigmatic figure who commanded both awe and caution. As we will see in the next section, this fear and reverence extended to the artifacts he wielded, such as the Helm of Invisibility, which further underscored his unseen and untouchable nature. Delving deeper into the shadows of the underworld, we now turn our attention to one of Hades' most intriguing artifacts, the Helm of Invisibility, also known as the Helm of Darkness. This legendary item embodies the very essence of Hades' unseen nature. Forged by the Cyclopes during the Great War between the Olympians and the Titans, the helm was one of 3 divine tools created to aid Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades in their battle. While Zeus wielded lightning and Poseidon the trident, Hades received the helm, a tool that granted him the power to disappear completely from sight. This ability was not merely about evading detection. It symbolized Hades' mastery over the unseen, his capacity to move unnoticed throughout the world, and his dominion over the realm of shadows. During the Titanomachy, the helm played a crucial role, allowing Hades to move undetected amongst enemy ranks, strategizing and striking without being perceived. However, its power was not limited to warfare. In myths, the Helm became a symbol of Hades' authority and his connection to the hidden aspects of existence. It is said that even other gods could not perceive him when he wore it, further solidifying his status as a figure operating beyond the reach of mortals and even the divine. The Helm of Invisibility was not just a weapon. It was an extension of Hades' persona, a reminder that some powers exist beyond the grasp of mortals and even the divine. As we will see next, this theme of unseen power continues with the three judges of the underworld, who wield their own form of hidden authority over the destinies of souls. Shifting our focus to the realm of justice within the underworld, we encounter three formidable figures who hold the fates of souls in their hands: Rhadamanthus, Minos, and Iarchus. Each stands as an epitome of justice and wisdom, serving as eternal judges tasked with evaluating the lives of the departed. Rhadamanthus, renowned for his fairness and profound understanding of laws and order, is said to have judged souls from the eastern realms. Minos, the former king of Crete, brought his legendary sense of justice to the underworld, often acting as the final arbiter in complex cases. Iarchus, revered for his piety and incorruptibility, judged souls from the western lands, ensuring that every decision was based on moral clarity. Together, these three judges weighed each soul's deeds against the balance of justice, considering not only their actions, but also the intentions and circumstances that shaped their lives. Souls deemed virtuous were granted passage to the Elysian fields, a paradise of eternal bliss. Those found unworthy faced the grim Asphodel meadows, and for the truly wicked, the ominous Tartarus awaited, a grim reminder of the consequences of a life lived in disregard for morality and virtue. The criteria for judgment were both precise and profound, reflecting the ancient Greeks' belief in the importance of living a life guided by honor, justice, and reverence for the divine. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of the underworld, the roles of these judges serve as a powerful testament to the enduring notion that every action in life and in death carries weight and consequence. Next, we venture towards the rivers that flow through this somber realm, each with its own story and significance. Now let us traverse the somber waterways that crisscross the underworld, each river carrying its unique symbolism and purpose. The river Styx, perhaps the most infamous of the five, served as the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. Its waters were so sacred that the gods themselves swore upon them, knowing that breaking such an oath would bring dire consequences. Souls seeking passage across the Styx paid Charon an obol, a coin placed in the mouths of the deceased, ensuring their journey into the afterlife. Next, the river Acheron, often called the River of Sorrow, was a place of grief and lamentation. It was here that many souls first entered the underworld, their sorrow and regrets mingling with the dark, swirling currents. The river Lethe, on the other hand, offered a different kind of transition. Its name means forgetfulness, and drinking from its waters erased a soul's memories, allowing them to begin anew in the afterlife. This river was often associated with rebirth, as souls cleansed of their past could return to the mortal world unburdened. The river Phlegethon, known as the River of Fire, was a blazing stream that punished the wicked. Its flames consumed those who had committed heinous crimes. Finally, The river Cocytus, the river of wails, echoed the cries of those suffering eternal torment. Its icy waters symbolized the despair of the condemned. Each of these rivers played a crucial role in the journey of souls, shaping their experiences in the afterlife and reflecting the ancient Greeks' belief in the moral consequences of human actions. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of Hades' realm, these rivers serve as a reminder that each soul's path is marked by choices, memories, and the weight of their deeds. Next, we will meet Charon, who ferries souls across these treacherous waters, a figure shrouded in both fear and necessity. Now let us meet Charon, the enigmatic ferryman who serves as the gatekeeper of the underworld's most crucial transition. Charon's role was both vital and fear-inducing, as he was responsible for transporting souls across the river Styx, the boundary separating the living from the dead. Picture the scene. A shadowy figure in a tattered cloak stands silently in his boat, awaiting to guide souls to their final resting place. But this journey was not without its cost. To secure passage, the departed were buried with an obol, a small coin placed in their mouths. This coin was the fare Charon demanded, a tradition rooted in the belief that proper burial rites ensured a soul's safe passage. Without this coin, souls would remain to wander the banks of the Styx, trapped in a liminal state of despair for eternity. This practice underscores the profound importance the ancient Greeks placed on honoring the deceased and the consequences of neglecting such duties. Interestingly, not everyone was granted passage. Those who had lived lives deemed unworthy or who had died without proper burial rites were often turned away by Charon, left to face the harsh reality of their unfinished destinies. This aspect of the myth highlights the moral underpinnings of the underworld, where actions in life had direct repercussions in the afterlife. Charon's role, though often depicted as grim, was essential in maintaining order within Hades' realm, ensuring that only those prepared for the journey could cross into the afterlife. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the underworld, Charon's presence serves as a reminder that even in death, preparation and reverence hold immense power. Next, we step into the Asphodel Meadows, a place where ordinary souls of the departed find their eternal repose. Leaving behind the bleak shores of the Styx, we now enter the Asphodel Meadows, a vast and somber plain where most of the departed find their eternal resting place. Imagine a landscape of endless grey fields where pale asphodel flowers stretch as far as the eye can see, their delicate petals swaying in an unseen breeze. This was not a place of punishment like Tartarus, nor a paradise like the Elysian fields, but rather a neutral territory for souls who had lived lives that were neither exceptionally virtuous nor particularly wicked. It was, in essence, the underworld's version of the mundane, a reflection of the everyday lives most people led. Here, the departed wandered aimlessly, their existence marked by a quiet monotony. The Asphodel Meadows lacked the torments of Tartarus and the bliss of Elysium. Instead, they offered a sort of eternal mediocrity. This realm underscores the ancient Greek belief that most human lives were neither heroic nor sinful, but somewhere in between. It was a place where souls simply existed, neither rewarded nor punished, but forever trapped in a state of passive neutrality. This stark contrast to the extremes of the underworld serves as a reminder that for the Greeks, the afterlife mirrored the complexities of life itself. where much of humanity's fate was neither glorious nor tragic, but profoundly ordinary. As we depart these quiet fields, we next venture to the Elysian fields, the realm of eternal reward for the virtuous and heroic. Leaving behind the monotony of the Asphodel meadows, we enter a realm of breathtaking beauty and eternal reward. Welcome to the Elysian fields, the paradise of the underworld, reserved for heroes, the virtuous, and those beloved by the gods. Picture a land bathed in golden sunlight, where lush green meadows stretch endlessly, dotted with fragrant flowers and crystal-clear streams. Unlike the grey neutrality of the Asphodel meadows, the Elysian fields were a place of joy and fulfillment, a reward for those who had lived lives of outstanding bravery, honor, or divine favor. To earn a place here, a soul had to achieve greatness in life, whether through heroic deeds, unwavering virtue, or direct intervention from the gods. Heroes such as Achilles, Orpheus, and other legendary figures are said to reside here, enjoying an afterlife of peace and happiness. The Elysian fields were not merely a place of rest, but a realm of perpetual bliss, where souls could engage in their favorite activities, from athletic competitions to artistic pursuits. This idyllic realm reflects the ancient Greek ideal that a life of honor and excellence could lead to a glorious afterlife. As we marvel at the beauty of this paradise, we are reminded of the stark contrasts within the underworld, where reward and punishment were intrinsically linked to the moral choices made in life. Next, we descend into the depths of Tartarus, the abyss of eternal torment, to explore its terrifying nature and the infamous figures imprisoned there. From the radiant paradise of the Elysian fields, we now journey to a place of unimaginable horror and despair. Tartarus, the abyss of punishment, lies deep beneath the underworld, a realm reserved for the most wicked and sinful souls. It is not merely a prison, but a place of eternal torment, where the air is thick with the screams of suffering and the earth is scorched by relentless flames. Tartarus is said to lie as far beneath the earth is from the heavens, a place so isolated and dreadful that even the gods trembled at its mention. Here, the Titans, the ancient enemies of the Olympians, were imprisoned after their defeat in the Titanomachy, bound by chains and left to suffer for eternity. But it was not only the Titans who faced this fate. Mortals who committed grave sins, such as Sisyphus, the cunning king who cheated death not once, but twice, were also condemned to Tartarus. Sisyphus's punishment was particularly cruel. He was forced to push a massive boulder up a steep hill, only to watch it roll back down each time he neared the summit, repeating this cycle endlessly. Similarly, Tantalus, who offended the gods by serving his son as food, was doomed to stand in a pool of water beneath a tree laden with fruit, forever experiencing thirst and hunger as the water and fruits eluded his grasp. Tartarus serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of hubris and wrongdoing in Greek mythology, a place where justice is as unyielding as the punishments it inflicts. Leaving this dark abyss, we delve into the poignant myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, a tale of love, loss, and the fragility of trust. Now let us turn to one of the most heart-wrenching tales from Greek mythology, the legend of Orpheus and Eurydice. This myth is a powerful exploration of love, loss, and the fragility of trust. Orpheus, a gifted musician whose melodies could charm even the gods, fell deeply in love with Eurydice, a beautiful nymph. However, their happiness was short-lived. Soon after their wedding, Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake and died, leaving Orpheus devastated. Unable to bear the thought of life without her, Orpheus decided to do the unthinkable. He would descend into the underworld to retrieve her. Armed only with his lyre, Orpheus used his music to soften the hearts of the underworld's guardians. Charon, the ferryman, was moved, taking him across the river Styx without the usual obol. Cerberus, the three-headed dog, lay down peacefully at the sound of his song. Even the Furies, known for their mercilessness, were moved to tears as Orpheus reached Hades and Persephone. He played his lyre and pleaded for Eurydice's return. His music was so sorrowfully beautiful that even the stern rulers of the underworld were touched. They agreed to let Eurydice go, on one condition. Orpheus must not look back at her until they both reached the surface. Filled with hope, Orpheus began the journey back, Eurydice silently following him. But as they neared the surface, doubt crept into Orpheus's heart. Was she truly there? Had Hades tricked him? Unable to resist, he turned to look, and at that moment, Eurydice was snatched back into the underworld forever. This tragic ending serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of doubt and the importance of trust. The story of Orpheus has resonated through the ages, inspiring countless works of art, music, and literature, and it continues to captivate the imagination of those who hear it. Next, we explore another key myth, the story of Persephone's abduction and her role in shaping the seasons. Now let's delve into one of the most iconic stories in Greek mythology, the tale of Persephone's abduction, which not only shaped her destiny, but also gave rise to the cycle of the seasons. Persephone, the radiant daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, was gathering flowers in a meadow when Hades, the lord of the underworld, emerged from the earth in his chariot. Captivated by her beauty, he seized her and carried her off to his shadowy realm. Demeter, heartbroken by her daughter's disappearance, searched the world for her, and her grief caused the crops to wither and the earth to fall into decline. Finally, Helios, the sun god, revealed the truth. Persephone was with Hades in the underworld. Determined to retrieve her daughter, Demeter confronted Zeus, who intervened to broker a compromise. It was decreed that Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades as his queen, and the remainder of the year with her mother on earth. However, there was a condition. During her time in the underworld, Persephone had eaten a few pomegranate seeds. Binding herself to the realm, an agreement was struck, and her annual return to the surface marked the arrival of spring and summer, while her retreat to the underworld ushered in autumn and winter. This myth not only explains the cycle of the seasons, but also highlights Persephone's dual role as both the maiden of the earth and the powerful queen of the dead. Her story is a poignant reminder of the balance between life and death, growth and decay, and the interconnectedness of the natural world. As we continue, we will uncover more about the creatures and figures that inhabit the underworld, starting with its most fearsome guardian, Cerberus. Now let us turn our attention to one of the most formidable figures in the underworld, Cerberus, the legendary three-headed guardian of its gates. Born from the union of Typhon, a monstrous giant, and Echidna, a half-woman, half-serpent, Cerberus was destined to be a terrifying protector. With 3 heads, sharp fangs, and a serpent for a tail, he was the perfect sentry to ensure that no living soul could enter, nor any dead soul escape. His very presence instilled terror in the hearts of mortals and gods alike. However, despite his fearsome nature, Cerberus was not without his vulnerabilities. Myths tell of several brave, or perhaps foolish, heroes who dared to confront him. The most famous among them was Heracles, who, as part of his 12 labors, was tasked with capturing Cerberus and bringing him to the surface. Using his immense strength and cunning, Heracles subdued the beast without harming it, a feat that demonstrated both his bravery and his respect for the guardian's role. Another tale involves Orpheus, who used his enchanting music to lull Cerberus to sleep, allowing him to pass safely into the underworld in search of Eurydice. These stories not only highlight Cerberus's fearsome reputation, but also reveal the ingenuity and courage of those who sought to outwit him. As the eternal guardian of the underworld, Cerberus remains a symbol of relentless vigilance and the boundary between life and death. Next, we explore the role of the Furies, the relentless avengers of the departed, who ensured that justice was served even in the afterlife. Shifting our focus to another group of terrifying figures in the underworld, we encounter the Furies, also known as the Erinyes. These relentless avengers of the departed were responsible for ensuring that justice was served even in the afterlife. Born from the blood of Uranus after his castration by his son Cronus, the Furies were ancient beings of retribution, embodying the wrath of the gods themselves. Often depicted as winged women with snakes for hair and bloodshot eyes, they were a terrifying sight. Their primary mission was to punish those who had committed grave transgressions, particularly oath-breakers, murderers, and those who had wronged their own families. Their methods of torment were as brutal as they were ingenious. They would haunt their victims, driving them to madness with constant guilt and fear, or inflict physical suffering, often with whips or torture devices. One of their most famous appearances in myth is in the story of Orestes, who was pursued by the Furies after he murdered his mother Clytemnestra to avenge his father Agamemnon. This tale highlights the complexities of justice in Greek mythology, as Orestes' actions were both justified and condemned. Another story involves the Furies pursuing Alcmaeon for the murder of his mother Eurydice, further emphasizing their role as enforcers of divine law. Despite their fearsome reputation, the Furies were not merely agents of chaos. They represented moral order, ensuring that even the departed could not escape the consequences of their actions. Their presence in myths serves as a reminder of the inevitability of guilt and the relentless pursuit of justice. Next, we will compare the Elysian fields and Tartarus, the two realms that represent the extreme forms of reward and punishment in the afterlife. Turning our attention to two of the most contrasting realms within the underworld, we now explore the Elysian fields and Tartarus, each representing the ultimate forms of reward and punishment in Greek mythology. The Elysian fields, often depicted as a paradise, was a place of eternal bliss, reserved for the heroic, the virtuous, and those favored by the gods. Imagine a serene landscape filled with lush meadows, tranquil streams, and endless sunlight, a perfect haven where souls could enjoy peace and comfort for eternity. Heroes like Achilles and those who lived righteous lives are said to have found their eternal rest here, free from suffering and hardship. On the other hand, Tartarus stands as the polar opposite. This abyss of torment was designated for the wicked, the rebels, and those who defied the gods. It was a place of unimaginable suffering, where figures such as the Titans, Tantalus, and Sisyphus endured endless punishments for their transgressions. Tartarus was a realm of darkness, chaos, and despair, embodying the consequences of evil. Together, these two realms underscore the ancient Greek belief in moral balance in the afterlife. The Elysian fields rewarded virtue and heroism, while Tartarus served as a chilling reminder of the price of hubris and malice. This stark contrast highlights the importance of living a just and noble life, as the fate of one's soul was determined by their actions in the mortal world. Next, we will delve into the role of Hecate, the goddess of magic and crossroads, and her fascinating connection to the underworld. Now, let us unveil the mystical and multifaceted role of Hecate, a goddess whose influence extends far beyond the surface world. Known as the goddess of magic, witchcraft, and crossroads, Hecate holds a unique and powerful position within the underworld. She is often depicted as a figure carrying a torch, illuminating the paths of the departed and guiding souls through the shadowy realms. Her presence at Crossroads symbolizes her role as a mediator between worlds, making her a key figure in the journey of the deceased. Hecate's guidance was particularly significant in the myth of Persephone's abduction, when Hades took her to the underworld. It was Hecate who heard Persephone's cries and later became her companion, helping her navigate her new role as queen of the underworld. This act not only solidified Hecate's role as a protector and guide, but also deepened her connection to the realm of the dead. However, her influence was not confined to the underworld. Hecate was also revered as a protectress of mortals, offering safety and wisdom to those who invoked her at crossroads or during rituals. Her ability to traverse the boundaries between life and death, mortal and divine, seen and unseen, made her a figure of both reverence and awe. Through her actions and associations, Hecate embodies the enigmatic and transformative nature of the underworld itself. Next, we will explore the story of Sisyphus and the deeper meanings behind his eternal punishment. Now let us turn our attention to one of the most famous stories of punishment in Greek mythology, and we encounter the tale of Sisyphus, known for his cunning and deceit. Sisyphus was the king of Corinth, whose intellect often bordered on the treacherous, and his most infamous act was cheating death, not once, but twice. The first time, he tricked the god of the underworld, Hades, by chaining him up and halting the passage of souls. When the gods intervened and freed Hades, Sisyphus was captured, but he had one more trick up his sleeve. Before his death, he instructed his wife not to perform the traditional funeral rites, and when he arrived in the underworld, he convinced Persephone to allow him to return to the surface to punish his wife for this supposed neglect. Once back among the living, Sisyphus refused to return, compelling the gods to eventually drag him back to the underworld forever. As punishment for his deceit and defiance of the natural order, Zeus condemned Sisyphus to an eternal task. He was forced to push a massive boulder up a hill in Tartarus, only to watch it roll back down each time he neared the summit. This ceaseless labor became a symbol of punishment, but it also carries profound philosophical weight. The myth of Sisyphus offers a contemplation on themes of persistence, rebellion, and the human condition. Some interpret his eternal struggle as a metaphor for life's repetitive and seemingly meaningless tasks, while others see it as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, even in the face of insurmountable odds. As we continue our journey through the underworld, let us explore how these stories resonate with both ancient beliefs and modern interpretations of perseverance. Shifting our focus to another infamous figure of the underworld, we arrive at the story of Tantalus, whose name has left an indelible mark on the English language. Tantalus was a king and a favorite of the gods, often invited to dine at their tables on Mount Olympus. However, his privilege bred hubris, and he committed a series of unforgivable acts that sealed his fate. His most heinous crime was the murder of his own son, Pelops, whom he served as food to the gods to test their omniscience. The gods, horrified by his actions, restored Pelops to life and banished Tantalus to the depths of the underworld. There, he faced a punishment that perfectly mirrored his transgressions. Tantalus was placed in a pool of crystal clear water beneath a tree laden with ripe fruit. However, each time he bent down to drink, the water receded, and each time he reached for the fruit, the branches rose just out of his grasp. This eternal torment of unfulfilled desire gave rise to the word tantalize, which means to torment or tease someone with the sight or promise of something unobtainable. The myth of Tantalus serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of pride and the dangers of testing the divine. His story, much like that of Sisyphus, challenges us to reflect on the nature of punishment and the limits of human ambition. As we delve deeper into the underworld, let us uncover how these tales continue to resonate, offering timeless lessons in both ancient and modern times. Shifting our focus from Tantalus's torment, we now turn to another infamous figure of the underworld, Ixion, whose story is equally steeped in betrayal and divine retribution. Ixion was a king known for his cunning and ambition, but it was his actions that earned him a place among the most notorious souls in Greek mythology. His downward spiral began with the murder of his father-in-law, a crime that shocked even the gods. This act of betrayal marked Ixion as the first mortal to commit such a heinous deed, setting him apart as one who would stop at nothing to achieve his desires. Seeking forgiveness, Ixion appealed to Zeus, the king of the gods, who took pity on him and invited him to Mount Olympus. However, Ixion's gratitude quickly turned to arrogance, and he attempted to seduce Zeus's wife, Hera. This act of hubris crossed the ultimate line, and Zeus, enraged by Ixion's audacity, devised a fitting punishment. Ixion was bound to a great fiery wheel, condemned to spin endlessly in the heavens forever. This eternal punishment serves as a powerful symbol of the consequences of betrayal and the perils of excessive ambition. The wheel itself represents the cyclical nature of guilt and punishment, a reminder that those who defy the gods or violate sacred bonds will face unyielding retribution. The story of Ixion, much like those of Sisyphus and Tantalus, underscores the moral lessons woven into the fabric of Greek mythology, teaching us about the limits of human behavior and the inevitability of justice. As we continue our journey through the underworld, let us explore how these tales of punishment and redemption continue to echo through the ages, offering timeless insights into the human condition. Now let us shift our focus to a figure who plays a crucial yet often overlooked role in the underworld, Hermes, the messenger of the gods. Known for his speed and cunning, Hermes wears many hats in Greek mythology, but one of his most fascinating responsibilities is his role as a psychopomp, a guide for souls transitioning from the world of the living to the realm of the dead. Picture Hermes as a divine escort, leading spirits across the threshold and ensuring they find their way safely to the river Styx. where Charon awaits them. This role is not simply about transportation, it is about connection. Hermes serves as a bridge between the mortal and divine realms, embodying the idea that life and death are not entirely separate, but part of a continuous cycle. His presence in myths often brings comfort, as he assures souls that they are not alone on their final journey. One of the most vivid examples of this is in the myth of Orpheus, where Hermes guides Eurydice back to the underworld after Orpheus's fateful mistake. But Hermes' role extends beyond mere guidance. As a trickster god, he also represents the unpredictability of life and death, reminding us that even the most carefully laid plans can be altered by fate. His dual nature as both a guide and a trickster adds a depth to his character, making him a complex and intriguing figure in the pantheon. The significance of Hermes extends to his ability to move freely between realms, a privilege few gods possess. This unique position allows him to act as an intermediary, ensuring that the balance between the living and the dead is maintained. As we reflect on Hermes' role, it becomes clear that he is not merely a messenger, but a guardian of transitions, a reminder that every end is also a beginning. Next, we will explore another boundary between realms, the goddess Styx and the river that bears her name, where oaths are sworn and destinies are forged. Turning our attention to the boundary between realms, we arrive at the goddess Styx and the river that bears her name, a place of immense power and significance in Greek mythology. Styx, a primordial goddess, personifies the river that serves as the ultimate divider between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. This dark, flowing waterway is not merely a physical barrier, it is a symbol of transition, representing the final passage into the afterlife. To cross the river Styx is to leave behind the mortal world forever, making it one of the most sacred and awe-inspiring locations in Greek myths. But Styx's significance extends beyond her role as a boundary. She is also deeply connected to the concept of oaths. The gods themselves swore upon her waters the most binding promises, knowing that breaking an oath sworn on the river Styx would bring dire consequences. This reflects her immense power and the reverence she commanded, even among the Olympians. Styx's influence is seen in various myths, including her support of Zeus during the Titanomachy, where her allegiance helped ensure his victory. Her loyalty earned her a place of honor in the divine hierarchy, and her children, known as the personified spirits of victory, zeal, and strength, further solidified her legacy. The river Styx also plays a pivotal role in the journey of souls, as it is here that Charon ferries the dead across the underworld. For the departed, the river represents the finality of death, while for the living, it serves as a reminder of the immutable boundary between life and the afterlife. As we reflect on the goddess Styx and her river, we are reminded of the weight of promises and the inevitability of mortality, themes that deeply resonate within the myths of ancient Greece. Next, we will follow the legendary hero Heracles as he ventures into the underworld, facing its trials head-on. Now let us step into the sandals of one of the most legendary heroes in Greek mythology, as he bravely defies the depths of the underworld itself. Heracles, renowned for his unparalleled strength and courage, faced the daunting task of obtaining Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed guardian of the underworld, as part of his 12 labors. This journey was no ordinary feat. It was a test of both physical prowess and mental fortitude, as Heracles had to navigate the perilous realm of the dead. Upon entering the underworld, Heracles encountered the ferryman Charon, who initially refused to transport a living soul across the river Styx. But Heracles, ever resourceful, used his immense strength to compel Charon to assist him. After crossing, he found himself face to face with the shades of the dead, including the tragic figures of Meleager and Medusa, whose stories added depth to his quest. However, the most formidable challenge awaited him at the gates: Cerberus. This monstrous dog, with its serpent-like tail and mane of snakes, was no ordinary beast. Nevertheless, Heracles, guided by Athena and Hermes, managed to subdue Cerberus without resorting to weapons, relying instead on his sheer strength and boundless courage. The confrontation with Cerberus was not merely a physical battle. It symbolized Heracles' ability to conquer even the darkest aspects of existence. After successfully capturing the beast, Heracles presented it to King Eurystheus, completing his labor before returning Cerberus to the underworld. This myth not only showcases Heracles' heroism, but also highlights the intricate relationship between life, death, and the divine in Greek mythology. Next, we will explore how ancient poets like Homer and Virgil painted vivid pictures of the underworld, shaping our understanding of this enigmatic realm. Turning our gaze toward the realm of words, we find that the underworld was vividly brought to life not only through myths, but also through the pens of ancient poets. Homer, often hailed as the father of Western literature, offers one of the earliest and most influential depictions of the underworld in the Odyssey. As Odysseus journeys into this shadowy domain, he encounters a hauntingly bleak landscape where the dead wander aimlessly as desiccated shades. Homer's underworld is a place of lament and regret, a reflection of the ancient Greeks' belief in an afterlife devoid of joy. However, it is also a place of revelation, where Odysseus receives prophecies from the ghost of the seer Tiresias. Virgil, writing centuries later in the Aeneid, expands upon Homer's vision, creating a more structured and detailed underworld. In Virgil's depiction, Aeneas's descent reveals a realm divided into distinct regions, each serving a specific purpose. The fields of mourning, Tartarus, and the Elysian fields are vividly described, creating a sense of order and moral consequence. Virgil's underworld is not merely a passive backdrop, but an active reflection of Roman values, where souls are judged and rewarded or punished based on their earthly deeds. These poetic portrayals have profoundly influenced how we conceptualize the afterlife, shaping everything from medieval literature to modern storytelling. Homer's ethereal vision and Virgil's intricate moral landscape together form the bedrock of our collective understanding of the underworld, a testament to the enduring power of these ancient voices. From here, we explore the fascinating world of Hades' cult and how this enigmatic god was venerated in ancient Greece. Shifting our focus from the poetic depictions of the underworld, we now step into the intriguing world of Hades' cult. Unlike his more celebrated siblings, Zeus and Poseidon, Hades was not widely worshipped in ancient Greece. However, his presence was deeply felt in the shadows. Temples dedicated to Hades were rare, as mortals often feared invoking his name directly. One of the most notable such sites was the Necromanteon, or Oracle of the Dead, located in Epirus. This eerie sanctuary was considered a gateway to the underworld, where priests performed rituals to commune with the departed. These ceremonies were shrouded in mystery and often involved animal sacrifices, libations, and other offerings intended to appease the god of the dead. Despite the fear surrounding him, Hades was also perceived as a just and impartial ruler, ensuring a balance between life and death. The reluctance to worship him openly stemmed from the ancient Greeks' desire to avoid attracting his attention, as they believed it might hasten their own journey to the underworld. This cautious reverence highlights the unique relationship mortals had with Hades, a god both feared and respected, whose domain was as inevitable as it was unsettling. This blend of fear and respect sets the stage for our next exploration: the symbolic significance of pomegranates in the myth of Persephone and their connection to the underworld. Now, as we turn our attention to the enigmatic symbol of the pomegranate, we uncover its profound significance in the myth of Persephone and its connection to the underworld. When Hades abducted Persephone and brought her to his realm, her mother, Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, plunged the earth into barrenness. In her grief, Zeus eventually intervened, demanding Persephone's return. However, before leaving the underworld, Persephone ate 6 pomegranate seeds, unknowingly binding herself to the realm. This act ensured that she would spend 6 months of the year in the underworld, explaining the cycle of the seasons. The pomegranate, with its myriad of seeds, became a powerful symbol of life, death, and rebirth in ancient Greek culture. Its vibrant red color was associated with vitality, while its abundance of seeds represented fertility and the eternal cycle of nature. Pomegranates were often used in rituals and offerings to honor the gods, especially in ceremonies related to the harvest and the afterlife. The dual nature of this fruit, both nourishing and binding, mirrored Persephone's dual roles as queen of the underworld and bringer of spring. Its symbolism extended beyond myths, influencing art, literature, and religious practices, as it embodied the interconnectedness of life and death. This rich significance makes the pomegranate an enduring symbol of the delicate balance between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. Shifting our gaze from the Greek underworld, let us explore its Roman counterpart and uncover how the Romans reinterpreted these ancient myths. While the Greek and Roman underworlds share many commonalities, the Romans introduced distinct names, roles, and cultural nuances to their version of the afterlife. In Roman mythology, Hades is known as Pluto, a name derived from the Latin word meaning wealth, reflecting his association with earthly riches and treasures hidden beneath the surface. Similarly, Persephone becomes Proserpina, a name that retains her connection to spring and fertility, but carries a distinctly Roman flavor. The Romans also emphasized Pluto's role as a god of abundance and prosperity, blending his dominion over the dead with his power over earthly bounty. This dual identity distinguished him from the more feared and mysterious Greek Hades. Proserpina was also viewed as a symbol of renewal and growth, but her story was often framed with a greater emphasis on her role as a bridge between life and death. The Romans also reinterpreted other underworld figures, such as Charon, who remained the ferryman, but was often depicted as more pragmatic and less sinister. Even the rivers of the underworld retained their names, but were sometimes imbued with new symbolic meanings in Roman art and literature. These changes reflect the Roman tendency to adapt Greek myths to their own cultural values, emphasizing order, utility, and the interconnectedness of life and death. By comparing the Greek and Roman underworlds, we gain a deeper appreciation for how myths evolve across cultures, shaping and reshaping our understanding of the afterlife. Now let us step into the shadowy realm where the underworld intersects with the worlds of dreams and prophecy. In ancient Greek belief, the underworld was not merely a destination for the deceased. It was also a source of profound spiritual influence, particularly when it came to dreams and oracles. Dreams were often perceived as messages from the gods or the souls of the departed, offering guidance, warnings, or glimpses into the future. One of the key figures in this connection was Morpheus, the god of dreams. As a master shapeshifter, Morpheus could appear in dreams in any form, delivering messages from the divine realm or the underworld. His role underscores the Greeks' belief in a porous boundary between the living and the dead, where the dreams of the living could serve as conduits for the dead to communicate. Oracles were also closely tied to the underworld, with one of the most famous examples being the Oracle of the Dead in Epirus. This oracle was a sacred site where the living could seek counsel from the spirits of the deceased. The rituals performed here were believed to summon the shades of the dead, who would provide wisdom or answers to pressing questions. This practice highlights the Greeks' reverence for the underworld, not just as a place of punishment or reward, but also as a source of knowledge and insight. Dreams and oracles served as bridges between the mortal world and Hades' realm, reminding the living of the ever-present influence of the afterlife on their daily lives. This intertwining of the underworld with the realms of dreams and prophecy reveals just how deeply these ancient beliefs permeated every aspect of existence. Now, as we shift our focus, let us delve into the captivating story of Asclepius, a figure whose tale blurs the lines between life, death, and divine intervention. Asclepius, the god of healing and medicine, was revered in ancient Greece for his miraculous ability to cure the sick and even bring the dead back to life. Born to Apollo and the mortal princess Cronus, Asclepius was raised by the centaur Charon, who taught him the art of healing. His skills became so remarkable that he could restore life, a power that ultimately led to his demise. According to one version of the myth, Asclepius used the blood of the Gorgon Medusa, given to him by Athena, to resurrect the dead. This act of defying the natural order angered Zeus, who saw it as a threat to the balance of life and death. In a fit of rage, Zeus struck Asclepius down with a thunderbolt, ending his mortal life. However, this was not the end of Asclepius's story. Recognizing his contributions to humanity, Zeus later deified him, placing him among the stars as the constellation Ophiuchus. This transformation underscores the intricate connection between the mortal and divine realms, as well as the influence of the underworld on life and death. The story of Asclepius also highlights the Greeks' belief in the sanctity of the natural order and the consequences of disrupting it. His journey from mortal healer to immortal deity serves as a reminder of the power of healing, the limits of mortality, and the ever-watchful presence of the gods. Through his myth, we see how the underworld's reach extended even to the realm of life, shaping the beliefs and practices of ancient Greek society. As we move forward, let us explore how ancient myths of Hades and the underworld have found new life in modern culture. Today, these timeless stories continue to captivate audiences, inspiring countless adaptations in literature, film, and video games. One of the most iconic portrayals comes from Disney's classic animated film Hercules, where Hades is reimagined as a sarcastic, fast-talking villain with a penchant for dramatic schemes. This version, while far from the stern ruler of Greek mythology, introduced the god of the underworld to a new generation, blending humor with the darker themes of his story. In the realm of video games, Supergiant Games' Hades offers a more nuanced approach, presenting the underworld as a richly layered realm filled with complex characters and engaging narrative. Players take on the role of Zagreus, the son of Hades, as he attempts to escape the underworld, encountering figures from Greek mythology along the way. The game's vibrant visual style and compelling storytelling have earned it widespread acclaim, demonstrating how these ancient myths can be reimagined for contemporary audiences. Beyond these examples, Hades and the Underworld have also appeared in novels, graphic novels, and even theatrical productions, each offering a unique take on the god and his domain. These modern adaptations not only keep the myths alive, but also underscore their enduring relevance, proving that Hades' stories continue to resonate across various media and generations. Through these creative interpretations, the underworld remains a powerful symbol of mystery, power, and humanity's fascination with what lies beyond the veil of life. Now let us turn our attention to the heart of what makes the underworld so intriguing: the philosophy of the afterlife in ancient Greek beliefs. The Greeks viewed death not as an end, but as a transition, a journey that every soul was destined to undertake. This journey was intricately linked to morality, as one's actions in life determined their fate in the afterlife. Souls were believed to be judged by three judges, Rhadamanthus, Minos, and Aeacus, who weighed their deeds and assigned them to one of the underworld's realms. For the virtuous, the Elysian fields offered eternal peace and happiness, a reward for a life lived well. Conversely, those who committed grave sins faced the torments of Tartarus, a place of endless suffering designed to reflect the gravity of their transgressions. This system of rewards and punishments was not merely a matter of justice, but also served as a moral compass for the living. The Greeks believed that the afterlife was a reflection of one's character, a concept that encouraged individuals to live with integrity and purpose. Even the neutral souls, who found solace in the Asphodel meadows, served as a reminder of the importance of striving for something more than mere existence. This philosophy underscored the belief that life and death were interconnected, and the choices made in the mortal world shaped the eternal destiny of the soul. Through this lens, the underworld was not simply a realm of the dead. It was a profound commentary on the human condition, urging us to consider the legacy we leave behind and the values we cherish. These ancient ideas continue to resonate, inviting us to reflect on the timeless questions of morality, justice, and the meaning of life. As we conclude our journey through the secrets of Hades and the underworld, it becomes evident that these ancient myths are far more than mere tales of gods and monsters. From the origins of Hades and his dominion over the unseen realm, to the intricate system of judgment that awaited every soul, each secret reveals a deeper layer of meaning. We have explored the symbolic rivers that carve through the underworld, the fearsome guardians like Cerberus and the Furies, and the tragic tales of mortals who dared to defy their fate. These myths not only shaped the ancient Greek understanding of life and death, but also offered timeless lessons on morality, resilience, and the human condition. The underworld, with its eerie allure and stark contrasts between reward and punishment, remains a powerful metaphor for the consequences of our choices and the legacy we leave behind. It is a testament to the enduring appeal of these stories that they continue to captivate us, inspiring art, literature, and even modern media. So, as we reflect on these 30 secrets, let us ask ourselves, what do these ancient stories teach us about our own lives? How do they inspire us to live with purpose and integrity? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of Hades and the underworld, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more explorations from the fascinating world of mythology. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and may these ancient stories guide you on your own journey.